Hello, my little bibliophiles. This is Jesse from Stories, Insights, and Weird Thoughts. Well, following after the last video I did, the comparison between Battle Royale and Hunger Games, I am not going to be doing that female voice thing again. I realize now that was a completely stupid idea, so I'm not going to do it anymore. No more female voice subtitles. That was a stupid idea, as well as the invasion of Canada. It's a bad idea to try and invade Canada or even say you're going to invade Canada, so don't do it. Just trust me on this. Just don't invade Canada. Well, getting back to the main topic at hand, and young adult romance and why it needs to seriously change. Ancient movie theaters across the country, another film based on successful young adult novels being released to mostly negative reviews. And by mostly negative, I mean this thing is flopping harder than a fat guy trying to jump into a pool. That movie would be Rick Yancey's The Fifth Wave. Let's take a look at the trailer, shall we?
Alright, be good. If you can't be good,
Don't get caught.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too, Mom.
Okay, who can give me the derivative of X?
what's going on?
Did you guys see that? Oh my god.
At 1:07 a.m., the Odyssey satellite received images of an object moving past Mars.
It's right over us.
I want to see.
I didn't know it then, but that was the last normal day of my life.
We have reason to believe there's an imminent threat to this location.
Alright, stay with your sister.
The waves have begun.
It started.
Coordinated attacks on metropolitan areas.
The first wave knocked out all the power. Then the second wave hit. An earthquake strong enough to shake the entire planet.
Cassie! Okay, I got you.
With the third wave, disease spread across the world. By the fourth wave, they were among us.
The others have the ability to inhabit human hosts. They could be anywhere. We can't trust anyone anymore.
The others took my brother, and I'm gonna go get him.
You will learn to think, move, and fight like soldiers.
I want to be ready.
You won't get very far on your own. Grab the gun and snap my hand away. Good.
How are we supposed to fight them if we don't even know what they are?
What are you?
They took everything from me.
My sister's coming.
This is our world. This is our home. Our only choice is to take it back.
Drop it!
I know you're human.
How?
Because if you were one of them, you would have shot me already.
Apart from the wooden dialogue and acting, the funny writing, the lack of any actual aliens in this movie, colossal plot holes like the main character's younger brother actually being young enough that he wouldn't even be able to hold one of these guns and aim accurately. One of the biggest complaints about this movie is the romantic subplot that feels like it's part of every other romantic young adult novel out there. Which I actually have to say, I kind of agree with that. Young adult novels and the movies that are based off of them, there's way too many romantic subplots. As much as a romantic subplot can help a novel and a movie, it can easily harm it as well. It's a double-edged sword. Personally, it feels like there are no more naturally evolving romances in young YA novels anymore, or the Grover series. It just feels all shoehorned into one cohesive whole. It's just several books in the past, Hunger Games, Twilight, Warm Bodies, they almost follow the same exact tropes Oh, wait, never mind, I can't include Warm Bodies. That was actually good. But they all follow the same trope of a young woman with little to no flaws at all, aka a Mary Sue, falls in love with a mysterious, brooding, handsome young man who resembles something out of an Abercrombie and Fitch advertisement, and then they fall into a romance that Disney would groan at. Yeah. And honestly, this is getting annoying. It's also becoming too much of a common trope that the young woman will have to choose between two men and who are essentially identical apart from minor mannerisms who may or may not feel the same for her at all. In fact, this actually brings up a surprising point. With all these young adult novels, the male leads, the two males in the common romantic love triangle, they honestly go better together than the male and the female go together at all. I mean, seriously, I can think of Edward and Jacob. They would actually be a better couple than Edward and Bella. In fact, I'm going to let a French piece of animation express how I feel about this. Let's take a look.
C'est nul. On n'y croit pas du tout. Allez, le bisou.
Thank you, Dolphus, for Treasures of Cherubim. Well, look, I have nothing against romance. I have nothing against reading about young love. I enjoy Harley Quinn novels and romantic reads from time to time. I do, I really do. But this cookie-cutter romance crap needs to change. Please, authors of the world, listen to me when I say this. I know I'm outside of the demographic for this book. I know that these kind of novels are intended for younger people, younger than their 20s. But honestly, every time I see one of these movies, I can't help but think that they actually don't know how romance works. I mean, all this, it just feels like we're looking down a list of every single trope from a young adult novel, and are saying, okay, let's see. I got the almost bland protagonist who gets thrown into predictable situations. I have they discover a secret about themselves they didn't know before. Check. I now have also the love triangle. That's good. We have a romantic triangle. Everything's okay now. But I'm honestly going to tell you this. That's not how it works. There isn't always going to be two guys fighting over the same girl. There aren't going to be living Adonises who will swing you off your feet. Ladies, I'm sorry, but not every guy's like that. Now, here are some bold ideas which I'm going to tell you right now, these might be a little controversial, but they could actually help make your young adult novel better and make the romance more believable. For example, focus on a one-on-one relationship. For example, just focus on the man and focus on the female and how they build together. Just ditch the love triangle altogether and focus on the one-on-one relationship. Have one of the characters not attractive, aka being chubby or extremely skinny, a large nose, crooked teeth, and so on and so forth. Have them be disfigured or scarred, and have the characters love to grow each other over time. Just don't give me that, oh, Alex Finley's Beastly already did that story. Even disfigured, he still looks like he graced a cover of a GQ magazine. I mean, look at him. Here's another one. Have a homoerotic relationship between a main character and someone else of the same gender. Because, let's face it, we haven't done that yet, and I'm pretty sure at this current rate, Hollywood would be clamoring for a story with a homoerotic relationship between a protagonist and someone else. Also, here's another one. Have one of the leads die, and have the main character mourning the loss of their lover and learn to get over it over time. Show the ugliness of a relationship, that where one half is abusive, and by abusive I actually mean abusive. Like, if this was actually helping in real life, you would call the police real. And also, the most controversial of all these ideas to help young adult novels would be, don't have a romantic subplot if it's not essential to the story. I mean, what I mean by this is there are several stories that could hold up on their own without the romantic subplot. In fact, some of these books, the romantic subplot feels unnecessary. To bring it back to the fifth wave, this could have been a novel about learning to survive during the alien invasion, where the story could focus on the unity of not only family, but what it means to be human as well. It could have had a well-developed female lead who keeps on living despite the loss of her parents, the countless death around her, but nope. It almost seems like it has to have a seemingly pointless romantic subplot that feels ripped out of Twilight. Chloe Moretz, I applaud you for your effort in this book. For this movie, you actually try your best in this movie. But can we please fix the romantic subplots? Authors of the world, movie makers of the world, I know I'm not the leading authority on this. I know there are people more qualified and more knowledgeable about this. But can we please change young adult romance in novels so we can actually have something to look forward to in the books and the movie? Alright, well, that's all I got. Be sure to stay tuned. This is Jesse from Stories, Insights, and Weird Thoughts. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to keep things updated while I can. Alright, till next time. Toodles.